The main challenges that we faced in the beginning for any of the call markings was generally trying to get as much of the calls listened to as possible. We used to listen to about 250 calls in general a week at most. It could be anything up to that point. Certain centres would be checked more than others because of their compliance wasn't as high. So our main challenge was the bulk of the calls being listened to mainly, and trying to find a way to prioritise which calls needed to be checked, to be honest. Now we listen to about 600 calls a week. All of the calls get checked on the AI, everything goes through Voyc. We will then monitor them ourselves. I would say about 90% of the calls will get manually checked as well because we have the ability to. So it's gone from 250 to 600, which is great for us. Voice Village was really easy to use and it kind of gave me all the tools I needed. So the onboarding process in general was very streamlined. So with Voice Village, I covered all of the courses just to make sure I was getting all the information I could. However, the system was so easy to use, it was more of an extra safety gate for me just to make sure I was doing everything correctly. I found that it was very consumer friendly, it was very usable. The voice support service I thought was great, to be honest. I rarely waited more than 5-10 minutes for a response, which was amazing. I loved how quick it was to get a response, and generally any fault was fixed within the 48-hour mark if there was anything that needed to take that long, to be honest. Anything I wasn't sure about, it's a few minutes response, so I found the whole support service and the human element great, to be honest. It just feels like they're there if you need them within a quick response time. So the features on Voice that I usually use to help streamline the process, the alerts, they're great for me. I find that they're the first thing we kind of go to if there's an alert on the call. It's a great tool. We've managed to use the alerts, we calibrated the script and the alerts around our agents, so we've managed to fit the script and the specific agents with the way they say things. So Voice has a lot of different elements that we found useful so that we don't have to work so hard. My team will go from listening to something which takes an hour and a half to 45 minutes down to about 10 minutes tops. They'll go in and check everything, and sometimes it's quicker than that, to be honest. If it's an AI pass, we will just skim over the health app, make sure that all looks correct. So it would be 2 minutes even. So it's improved the amount of time drastically for us. We can spend a lot more time actually covering all of the calls as opposed to just picking a handful. It's reassuring for me knowing that all the agents are being checked and anything massive would be flagged anyway. And we don't have to concern ourselves essentially that there's anything not being covered. Every single call gets checked, so we are relieved with that. So I definitely would recommend Voice to other companies. It's one of those tools you don't realise you need it until you've got it, essentially. It's improved our work elements so much. I don't have any concerns, essentially, that we're not doing our jobs properly. Any other company that has similar issues where they have to cover call quality, this would be an amazing tool for them because it does literally take out the element of having to try and cover so many calls. If we needed to cover the calls the way the AI does, we'd need a massive team. We'd need as many people listening to the calls as we do agents. It would just cost us quite a lot of money. Whereas Voice actually decreases the risk factor, I should say, but increases the call qualities. Essentially across the board, we can use the tools to improve the advisors, point out the good ones, we can pull the reports. Everything is there for us, whereas before I'd have to manually go and do it all. So I find it's a kind of a no-brainer. I would recommend it. For my team, they found it's a really helpful system. It's made everyone's jobs a lot nicer. We have time to be able to go in and check other elements, whereas before we wouldn't. So for the working staff, I think it's definitely an improvement for them as well.